Okay.
Let's just say that.
Before we start with good and welfare, I would just like to invite all of you to stay. Don't just get up and leave after good and welfare, please. The superintendent will be covering some information that I think you're going to want to hear. So I would ask you, your diligence, to stay and wait and hear his comments. So now we'll go into good and welfare. For anyone addressing the school committee this evening, please begin with your name and address. Your comments shall be no more than 5 minutes of speaking time and should be in good decorum. Please be aware that the committee cannot respond to you during good and welfare, but may direct you to an appropriate member of the administration team or may meet with you directly after the meeting for further discussion. Does anybody want to address the school committee this evening? That's a good start.
There we go.
Well, we'll fix the damn issue.
Hello? Okay.
You can adjust.
Hi, I'm Ian Chinaski. I'm a teacher at Villanova. I think it's just kind of time we have to admit that a lot of the issues we have here in our school district, just as good as these programs are, these issues cannot be solved with things like academic teaming or second step lessons. These things are all designed to help with minor behavioral issues. With kids who are honestly willing to put in the effort to improve upon themselves and their behavior. It's unfortunate, but we have to accept that we have kids in this district who just don't care about improving and who just don't care about being part of an educational community. We have to accept that we have parents that simply don't care what their kids do. And there's so many more layers on top of that. We have a judicial system that doesn't care to hold parents or their kids accountable. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen this, but I've seen kids be arrested for assault in my building, only to come back to school 3 days later, and I find out the only thing a judge consequenced them with is that they have to write an apology letter for brutally assaulting somebody. No community service, no nothing. And then on top of that, we have a state legislature who's been aware of these issues brewing for 5, 6, 7 years now. And the legislature doesn't even care that our Department of Education is led by people who haven't taught or been in a classroom in decades. I mean, we can't forget that our own Commissioner of Education, when they came to Rhode Island in 2019, refused to put their own children in Rhode Island public schools. And that's just, insane to me. And then on top of that, we have, a media who would rather just beat on us relentlessly over and over and over again instead of doing their job and holding everyone else accountable and digging to the root cause of why all these things are happening in our community. So, with all that in mind, and that how all these entities in our state just don't seem to care about getting to the bottom of what's going on and actually fixing, these kind of deep, societal issues. I'm just going to ask that the Woonsocket Education Department please do everything in their maximum ability to ensure that our hardworking staff and students are safe from kids who just simply have no desire to be productive members of our educational community and wish only to cause harm to others. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Is that working? Good evening. This isn't as working as well as last time. My name's Robert Stewart, President, Woonsocket Teachers Guild, 68 Cumberland Street, Woonsocket. We're here to discuss safety tonight. First topic on here is no retaliation or threats of retaliation for being here. Numerous teachers have approached me to ask if it's safe to even attend or talk at tonight's school committee meeting. Let's let that soak in for a second. Chairman Bourget, Dr. McGee, please allay these concerns while people exercise their right to share their testimony here tonight. Sharing safety concerns should not endanger anyone's job or well-being. What safety measures is Woonsocket Education doing better? There are a number of them. You've started the climate subcommittee meetings. Meetings are important, but we're looking for action. The phones and clocks at the high school and other schools are being installed. And Alan Latoriani's been contacting me about that. That's an improvement. The all-staff CPTs that we've been asking for at the high school, the 7:15 to 7:45, we have about 16 of those a month. We've been asking for 2 a month for years. You've recently given 1 a month. That's an improvement. I think the principals, Brian Ernest, the principals at the high school should have the discretion to call an all-staff CPT if the situation calls for it, like the day after September 22nd with the, I believe it was 13 arrests. That's a day we should have had a conversation. High school has more resource officers, and the leadership team of principals have stepped up their presence in the hallways. We can see that. We appreciate that. Dr. McGee has removed students, placed them in alternative settings. These are all things that are improvements I'm listing. And cell phones. Woonsocket Education is actively discussing means and timing to restrict cell phones. We look forward to working with you on this. Safety and order must come before anything else. It's been said that you can't get to Bloom's taxonomy without going through Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's just so true. You go through some of our schools, particularly our elementary schools, and you just know you have to have safety and order first. Recommendations. We've been talking about collaboration. Authentic collaboration. You see it with your actions, not just words. Teachers feel it, know it. When you're giving us all FaceTime, we can see that. Listen to teachers. Respect them in their voice. The education environment should encourage comfortable exchange of ideas. Placements all over the district. We have concerns about placements. Out of district placements, who's in self-contained, who's in departmental. The biggest complaint I hear in the elementaries are the misplaced students. Keep principals in the buildings. If there's a meeting that needs to happen, it's great when they come to the high school and we go to the conference room and the principal stays there. So if there's a problem, like happened recently, and I was with that principal out of the building and a problem happened, it's much safer if you keep the principals in the buildings. Financial decisions that impact personnel in the classroom. We want to see the resources kept in the classroom. Every decision that you make to add somebody, does that remove resources from the classroom? Like, we're grateful for the resource officers, but the city of Woonsocket has the Woonsocket Education Department pay the entire cost. So if we add 1 or 2 more resource officers recently, does that take resources out of the classroom? Protecting access to the buildings. Individuals should not be walking through our schools, let alone confronting and threatening teachers. We need to, that's good conversation with principals about being vigilant, about keeping who we allow in and how we keep them out. Funding for the new school complex, the Georgia City Elementary. This is an issue for the city. There should have been a bond. The city should have helped, but that money was pulled out of the Woonsocket Education Department. Again, resources out of the classroom. This money could have gone for additional paras or behavior interventionists, social workers, teachers, but it wasn't. Providing a bond was the city's responsibility. Subpay. I see subpay as a safety issue. We paid, I believe it was $200. We had no problems getting subs. At $100, we have a problem. I don't know if 125 encourages people to come back. But at the high school, if we don't have subs, that means teachers who are in hall duty, bathroom duty, cafeteria duty, entrance and exits, they're pulled off that duty, and it's not a safe. So not having subs means teachers aren't on those duties, and it raises problems for us. Wrapping up here, Woonsocket Educations are amazing people. These are amazing people who work really hard. These are your beloved teachers who are working hard to care for the children of Woonsocket. We, the Guild, want to work collaboratively with administration to keep the Rhode Island Department of Education out of our schools. We recently did a survey. Just going to read it real quick. Can we have it? Has the survey been handed out?
No. Mr. Stewart,
Yes.
I would ask you if you can wrap it up because we've got a lot of people probably going to.
Ms. Govin, do they have copies of this?
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay.
do.
Question number 1. Since March 26th, the Woonsocket School Committee, do you have confidence WED has taken the necessary steps to keep students and staff safe? Of the 301 teacher respondents, educator respondents,
Mr. Stewart, I'm going to stop you right
Sure.
there. You're way over.
Ms.
the top.
Ozanian?
Barbara Ozanian, Cold Spring Place, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. First question, since March 26, 2025, Woonsocket School Committee meeting, do you have confidence that the Woonsocket Education Department has taken the necessary steps to keep students and staff safe? Under 10% said yes, over 90% said no. Question number 2. Do you have confidence that the Woonsocket Education Department is prioritizing safety? 10% said yes. 90%, just slightly under 90% said no. Question 3, in the Woonsocket Education Department, student placement decisions are often based on budgetary constraints rather than students' needs. Over 90% said true. Like 5% said false. Last question, are you confident the Woonsocket Education Department Central Administration's current policies and initiatives will lead to improved student outcomes? E.g., increased attendance, increased graduation rates, higher standardized test scores, decreased incidents of violence, disruption behaviors. Under 10%, yes. Over 90%, no. And last, out of all due respect, school committee, I respect you all, and I respect that you're voted in. I'm speaking right now. When public speaking is over, I will leave because I can listen to this on the radio because we can't respond. This is when we speak. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pat Ford, 10 Admiral Street, Providence. I represent local media. Just 2 housekeeping comments. Number 1, I would request that those microphones, those beautiful microphones you have up there, be brought directly in front of you so that folks throughout the audience can actually hear what you're saying. Because right now, it's whispers to a lot of us, and it doesn't make for a good recording. Most importantly, I want to take issue with the opening comments to public comment. And I'm going to quote Rhode Island state law here, very, very briefly. Under Rhode Island General Laws 4246-6, Section D, nothing within this chapter shall prohibit any public body or the members thereof from responding to comments initiated by a member of the public during a properly noticed open forum, even if the subject matter of a citizen's comments or discussions were not previously posted, provided such matters shall be for informational purposes only. So you don't have to answer questions, but you certainly have the right to. So if folks in this body want to direct questions, and they should be directed at the chair, and they should be polite and well-informed, but you absolutely have the right, and some would say in a contentious meeting like this, the obligation to respond to public comments. Also, please fix this, Mike. Please? Thank you.
David Andrews, Woonsocket High School teacher, Woonsocket Teachers Guild Vice President for the Woonsocket High School and Woonsocket Area Career and Tech Center, 68 Cumberland Street, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Some of what I'm going to say is just reiterating what Mr. Stewart said earlier. I guess what particularly bothered me was the fact that at least 10 teachers came to me and were fearful of coming here because they felt there might be some type of retribution. That really kind of rattled them and rattled me a little bit. I did want to point out a couple of positive developments to start. Another police officer has been added at the high school for a total of 3 officers, and efforts to finally repair and replace the non-functional phone system have been set in motion. The teachers at Woonsocket High School and the Woonsocket Area Career and Tech Center are certainly grateful for both of these improvements. Now, while these are both positive steps, much more still needs to be done to ensure the safety and security of our schools. Last week, while I was on lunch duty, I went into the boys' bathroom because there were more than the allowed 2 students in there. 8 boys were in the bathroom, standing around. The smell of marijuana vape was overpowering. I asked them all to exit the bathroom, and several of them proceeded to ridicule my request and ridicule my personal appearance. Eventually, they left, and I wrote disciplinary referrals for 3 of them. Police officers have, both prior to and after this incident, confiscated vape pens and marijuana from the students. The latter, not Officer Scott, one of the other officers, confiscated a canister of leaf marijuana on Monday. Staffing the lunchroom continues to be an issue, and students are still caught vaping in the bathrooms and leaving the lunchroom to wander the halls. It's difficult to monitor that entire lunchroom because there are several doors in and out of there. And I realize, too, that we don't always have the staff to do that. Students are still roaming the halls and stairwells during class time. Sometimes they will linger after class and stay in the halls. Police officers can be a deterrent, certainly, to fighting and illegal behavior, but it would certainly be helpful to have hall monitors or something like hall monitors to ensure that students are in their classes. Now, over the past few years, I've noticed there have been fewer and fewer face-to-face meetings between teachers and staff and administrators. Rob and I have both been lobbying for more frequent face-to-face meetings for the past several years with both building administration and High Street administration. Dr. McGee and Mr. Ernest recently agreed to set aside one common planning time per month. Now, there are 16 per month, but one common planning time per month to be used to discuss issues face-to-face like safety and security, rather than discussions that are usually involving district initiatives. This lack of face-to-face has created a detrimental disconnect in communication between teachers and administration, and not just with safety and security issues. Many teachers, myself included, feel that training and expectations regarding district initiatives have not been adequate, leaving many teachers with questions regarding their implementation. This having much to do with the rollout of initiatives and the continuity of them. In light of this, we feel that more face-to-face meetings with administrators are necessary, and CPT time is a convenient time to do this, both for safety and security reasons and for clearing up misconceptions with district initiatives. Dr. McGee attended the most recent faculty meeting at Woonsocket High School, and we had what several teachers told me that they felt was a productive meeting. I told Dr. McGee that teachers did not feel that their voices were being heard, and that, as well as having concerns, teachers can offer solutions as well, both to safety concerns and district initiative implementation. I must point out that all levels, high school, middle school, and the elementary schools feel that safety and security of all students and staff should be the current focus and top priority. It was unsettling to hear that a student who recently threatened another student at the high school was found to have a .38 revolver at his home. Again, though, kudos to the Woonsocket Police Department for finding and removing this threat. At the high school in particular, we need to focus on students attending school regularly, getting to school and classes on time, and ensuring that students are not hanging around in the halls, stairwells, and bathrooms during class time. If students are not even present for instruction, failure rates will inevitably increase and graduation rates will decrease. The Commissioner of Education recently visited Woonsocket High School and essentially put us on alert regarding a state takeover of the high school. This would seem to presume that the Commissioner feels we will go back into CSIT. This may indeed happen if students are not attending and/or are late to school and their classes. However, with better communication and discussion of solutions between all stakeholders, teachers and administrators, as well as parents and students, and the prioritization of immediate needs like safety, security, good attendance, and punctuality, we might better set our students up for success in both the classroom and in life. Thank you.
Good evening. Tracy Desitel, 61 Smith Avenue, Greenville, Rhode Island. I'm an intermediate special ed teacher. I'm too short. I am an intermediate special ed teacher at Glow Park Elementary School, and I've been a teacher here in the district for 25 years. In the past few years, classroom safety has become a huge concern for many of us. I know in my classroom, I have gone from having maybe one student who is dysregulated to having 4 or more. Many days we come to work feeling like it's a day of survival. We are so short-staffed, no coverage for teachers who are absent or needing to attend meetings, no coverage for paraprofessionals, not enough support staff that are trained and certified that can assist with all the calls for help during the school day. There have been no preps as specialists are being pulled to cover classrooms on a daily basis, and no one to help monitor the hallways during the day. We are left to take care of things by ourselves without help, guidance, or supervision, as we are all stretched too thin. Many of the students in our schools do not have respect for the teachers, their classmates, our school, or even themselves. Teachers and peers are being sworn at, called inappropriate names, materials are being destroyed, computers and classroom furniture are being thrown. Students are leaving the classroom without permission to go take breaks and disrupt other classes as they are banging on our doors as they go down the hallway. It not only disturbs our classes, but it also scares the other students in the classrooms. But most of all, many of us have been getting hurt from all these dysregulated students. We are being hit in the head, slapped, punched in the face, choked, spit on, kicked multiple times in our shins and our knees, and being bit. In just the past year alone, I have had my 2 front teeth loosened from a headbutt, slapped across the face, bit, and kicked. While all these injuries are scary for all of us, I have an extra scare. 2 years ago, I lost my lung to cancer. I have not let it stop me, but there are days that I am worried that I'm going to get hit the wrong way and truly get injured. I have been trained in CPI for many years, but sometimes you never see that assault coming in order to protect yourself. This year, there's been a push from the district for teachers to set boundaries, to leave when we are supposed to, make calls during the school day, plan during preps. But how is this supposed to happen when our students are so dysregulated? Many of us spend what little time we do have filling out behavioral reports, injury reports, for nothing to happen. I used to love my job and I couldn't imagine doing anything else before. But now, some days, I'm just too tired to get the disrespect, sworn at, hit, bit, and scratched all day long. I went to college to be an educator, not a punching bag. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Caitlin Aurelio, 195 Sunnyside, and I work here at Hamlet. We are lucky here where we do not have many safety concerns, as our administration does a great job responding to any issues that arrive. However, the two concerns I am bringing up tonight are ones that are above them. One of these concerns is the cutting of staff who are supposed to be working directly with students. This includes behavior interventionists, teachers, and whole teams. The lack of these supports is very evident this year, especially when it comes to the 8th grade. Going from 4 teams to 3 has increased class sizes, taken away a lot of one-on-one help, and is overwhelming teachers, as the number of students in front of us is extremely high. On my team, we have 16 students with no contact contracts that are in the same classes. We have students who have physically fought each other that are still in the same classes. We have students who have had previous issues with others that are still in the same classes. There is nowhere to move these students to get them out of these situations because all the 8th grade classes are at capacity. This creates high tension in the clusters as students are unpredictable and could snap at any moment. I implore you to bring back these positions, the BIs, the teachers, the 4th, 8th grade class, because that's a big step in keeping our schools and our middle schools safe. A lot of concerns that we bring to you need to be addressed immediately, but the second concern I have is one that's a safety concern for the future, when the middle schools get combined. When Hamlet becomes 5th and 6th and Villa becomes 7th and 8th, you will be creating a mini high school next door, if not worse than what we have right now, as we deal with students who cannot regulate themselves, nor do we have the staff to help them regulate. One of the original reasons the 2 schools was built was to split up the population for safety reasons. Combining them will absolutely bring back the unsafe environment that was at the old middle school and that we are seeing a lot at the high school right now. Majority of the middle school teachers I have talked to all feel the same, that it is not a good idea. You will lose good teachers with this. I do not know why the teachers who are the people who are in the buildings who are dealing with these students were not involved in this decision making or even told that these decisions were being discussed. If we cannot protect our teachers, how can the teachers protect our students? We need to do better for the teachers and for the students. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Bruna Jordan, 30 Maple Street. I'm standing before you tonight not only as a general educator in an ESL inclusion classroom, but as an aunt to 3 children with special education needs who are within the Woonsocket Education Department. I'm here tonight because for 58 days, the issues in my classroom have consistently been unsafe, unsustainable, and unequitable for my students and myself. This school year has been extremely challenging. Several of my students have needs that far exceed what an inclusion classroom can provide. Because of inappropriate placements, I spend a significant portion of my day managing severe behavioral and emotional crises instead of doing my job, which is teaching academics, social emotional skills, and English to my students. I would like to add that these are not minor disruptions. Just this year alone, I have been spit on, bit, slapped, kicked, punched, had objects thrown at me, and my classroom repeatedly destroyed. And unfortunately, these students are not only harming themselves, but their peers as well. These incidents happen regularly and affect the entire learning environment. I want to make one thing very clear. I love my students, all of them. I want them all to succeed, but they deserve a learning environment that meets their needs where they are, and right now, that is not what they are getting. When I bring these concerns forward through the proper channels, I'm often met with resistance. I'm asked, why are we even having the meeting? Or I'm told my data is unclear, despite documenting every incident thoroughly, including write-ups. Many of these students have documented autism diagnoses, written plainly in their evaluations, and yet I, as a general education teacher, am not trained or certified to provide the level of specialized instruction and behavioral support that they require. Even though I may not be formally educated in autism, I do have 4 nieces and nephews who have the same diagnoses, 3 of which are in the school system and set to start in our building next year. And as an educator on the inside of the system, seeing how the administration is handling all of this, it makes me fear for their needs not being met and their safety as a whole. Shelter in place and rescues being called have become the norm in our school. The administration is allowing these students to slip through the cracks and choosing to look the other way, while these students suffer with dysregulation to the point that they are harming themselves and others. Upper administration is inconsistent. Directions change weekly, and different administrators give conflicting instructions. Constantly shifting expectations make it hard for staff to provide students with the structure and stability that they need. This inconsistency harms both students and staff, affecting morale, safety, and our ability to work effectively. Another major issue is the removal of the self-contained program. Now all students, regardless of need, are placed into general education or inclusion classes. This model is unfair to students who require specialized support, to general education students who lose instructional time, and to teachers who lack the resources to manage such diverse needs. I was even told I'm lucky that 2 students are appropriately placed, but this should never depend on luck. Every child deserves an appropriate setting as promised in their IEPs. I also want to emphasize something that is consistently overlooked. Elementary schools need significantly more support. Early childhood is where intervention matters most. If we can support and regulate students, if we can support and regulate students at the elementary level, we can prevent many of the challenges that later emerge in middle and high school. But far too often, elementary schools are the most neglected when it comes to behavioral support, staffing, and resources. Secondary schools receive far more support, but by the time students get there, it is much harder to make meaningful change. If we want long-term success district-wide, we must invest where it starts, in elementary classrooms. So tonight, I am asking the board to consider the following. Restore or create appropriate placements, meaning putting self-contained programs back into all of our elementary schools. Provide consistent, unified guidance from administration so teachers are not receiving mixed messages. Increase special education and behavioral support at the elementary level where early intervention can change student trajectories. And finally, put staff and student safety first because learning cannot happen in crisis. I care deeply about my students. I want all of them to thrive, but we cannot keep doing this without proper support, appropriate placements, and consistent leadership. Our children deserve better, and so do the educators who show up for them every day. And it is our job to ensure an equitable opportunity to education for all. WED, please do better for our students, our staff, and our families. My family. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wants to address the school committee?
Good evening. My name is Charlene Garvin, 15 Wildwood Circle, Millville, Massachusetts. I'm a 38-year veteran of the Woonsocket Education Department, and I'm currently the secretary for the Teachers Guild. Sadly, the recent episodes of school violence and arrests making headlines across local news and social media are not new to our school community. Teachers and staff have been sounding the alarm about safety issues for as long as I can remember. In fact, several years ago, the union leadership visited each school to listen to members and document their concern. I'm sure many of you remember our visits. Post-it notes, chart paper. You filled them up. While it was a daunting task, we managed to organize data from all 11 schools, and we hung the charts on the conference room walls at the Guild. As we analyzed the data, 3 areas of concern stood out across all grade levels, pre-K to 12. Safety, communication, and student placement. We invited some of the McPhee administration to come to the Guild and see the data we collected. To his credit, Dr. McGee acknowledged our concerns and scheduled meetings to discuss them. And well, we met and met and met and met. And when we suggested a solution, there was always a reason why it couldn't be implemented. There's no money, RIDE won't allow it, on and on. So here we are years later, and most of the issues we raised back then remain unresolved today. Safety, communication, and student placement are still huge problems in the district. I'm sure I speak for many of my colleagues when I say the lack of progress is not only frustrating, it's unacceptable. These days, teacher and staff accountability is at an all-time high. Every day there seems to be another expectation dumped on us. We're expected to have learning targets for every lesson. We're expected to continue teaching through shelter-in-place calls and after lockdowns. We're expected to know the difference between rigor walks and look and learns. And we're expected to manage the behaviors of misplaced students with little to no support. I don't know what you guys think, but I say accountability shouldn't be a one-way street. Shouldn't we expect accountability from our central administration? Listen, I've been to quite a few of these safety meetings, and from my perspective, it's been too much talk and not enough action. At these meetings, we need to set goals, brainstorm solutions, set timetables, and establish success criteria. Without a plan, there's zero chance that things will change. We're just paying lip service and wasting everybody's time. When we met with Dr. McGee last week, he voiced similar frustrations with the lack of progress, likening it to the movie Groundhog Day. While Groundhog Day is a comedy released in 1993, starring the always amusing Bill Murray, the reality in the Woonsocket Education Department is not quite so amusing. The challenges we face every single day would send educators in other districts fleeing from the profession. Honestly, if there was a teacher version of Survivor, my money would be on a Woonsocket teacher to win it all every single season. I know you all think I'm 29, but as I near the end of my teaching career, it's difficult to see so many of my dedicated colleagues stressed out, considering a career change and losing hope that things will ever get better. On a bad day, I'm sorry my daughter became a teacher. On a good day, I think I could do this for another 10 years. Unfortunately, for too many teachers, the bad days outnumber the good, and this cannot continue. I'll end by saying this. The WTG survey, while not scientific, served an important purpose. It identified serious issues that must finally be acknowledged and addressed. We need to put egos and past grievances aside and work together to get our district back on track. After all, we're here for the kids, right? Every day, every child. Thank you.
I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm probably 6 hours over my Caserta, so I did draft
Give
something
us your
up.
name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry.
please.
My name's Keith Mikado Lazarski. I live in North Kingstown. I'm the Dean of Students in Hamlet. I did have something written up that I I had to drive home to North Kingstown after school to bring my kid to an appointment. It was 5:30. I debated whether or not to come up. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to talk. And then when I was sitting here, there was a couple of things that kind of just hit me. One, I didn't even think about like retaliation. And I look around the room. I've talked to a lot of you. Some cases I don't know, but most of the people in this room I've talked to, it's really concerning that we're to the point where that was an issue. Because for me, coming here, I feel like this should be informative. I look at people sitting up there. I've talked to several of you, and I know you care. I know we're on at least the same page in terms of what we want overall. It's just how we're going to get there. One of the things that happened to me this year, which was kind of freeing, which is why the retaliation thing kind of, like right now, I really don't care what would happen to me, because September 12th, I got into a little bit of a jam. And when I got home and I was really upset, my wife told me, if you want to quit, quit. And after all the years I've put in and all the work I did for my admin program and the certification, all the stuff that I've done here in this building, it was really freeing to hear that from my wife. It was really disappointing for all the time that I put in, especially for someone like me, because I was a lot like the kids that are in this building. Because the kids aren't the problem. It's the adults. And the adults everywhere, right? So the kids for me are the symptom. And I really don't know what I'm going to say next, but I think we all want the same thing, but I think we're going about it the wrong way. We need help. I didn't hear anyone ask for money, which is phenomenal. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for raises. We're asking for help, right? Because what is it? One of the worst things I deal with is when my name is called on the radio and I can't respond. And then I hear my name again and I hear my name again. And all I can think is, like, these freaking teachers probably think I'm hiding, but I can't answer them. And I don't hear anyone else because the people I work with are working their asses off trying to put out fires here, there. It happens when I'm in the cafeteria trying to cover lunches and I get called. I have teachers coming in to the stage. Hey, this is going on. I'm like, that's great. I can't leave here right now. Is there anyone else available? And people keep getting pulled. When we talk about safety, yeah, it's an issue. It's an issue. And the way we communicate to each other is, for me, one of the biggest problems. Not just in the district, but like how kids talk to each other, how the parents talk to their kids, how sometimes we get jammed up and frustrated. We say things to the kids that we regret because we're frustrated. I go around the building all day and I hear all these different conversations, a lot of them great. Then there's a lot of frustration. Safety is the biggest concern, but how we talk to each other, how we share information. For me, I feel like Woonsocket cannot solve this problem alone. It's a money issue. It's a resource issue. And I really do think something needs to be bigger than any answer we can solve here. So my wife, that night, when she told me I could quit, man, it was a huge weight off my shoulders. It really was. Because I know if I leave here tonight, I'll be hurting probably for a few months. But I have opportunities that I can fall back on. But I don't want to leave. I love my job. I have a kid who was a former student living with me right now. I don't want to leave Woonsocket. I don't want to leave my position, but I feel it. And we're asking for help. Please help us. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jonna Macaruso. I am a teacher at Villanova, and I love my school. I love my students. However, a concern I've had and brought up many times since I started working at Villa is that not all of our security cameras work. This poses a problem for accountability, security, and vandalism. Just yesterday, a weapon described as an edged object or a blade was dropped on the floor and discovered at Villa. And when administrators tried to get to the bottom of this, they were unable to because the cameras do not work. Not only do we not know why what student brought a weapon into school, but what's more harrowing is that we don't know the intent of the child, and we cannot have the restorative conversation required to create a healing and come to a conclusion and an understanding. Because in my experience in studies and education, severe behaviors like this are a cry for help. Thanks. I want to know how we will be proactive to these behaviors and not reactive when it is too late. Because when students ask me, Miss, what happened? Why do we have a lockdown? I don't have the courage to tell them what happened. That happened today. I didn't have the courage to say, well, someone brought a knife into school. I just said I didn't know. I just lied because it's so emotionally taxing. I understand not all of you are in the classroom the way us teachers are, but if you were, looking at the kids in the eye, having conversations with them, having inside jokes with them, you would do everything in your power to keep them safe. Thank you for your time, and I hope we can come to an understanding on this matter.
Didn't I say after your shower? Don't open that.
Good evening. My name is Shannon Turner, and I've been a teacher at Villanova for almost 8 years now. Recently, a weapon was dropped in my classroom. Since then, I've had one thought on repeat. What could have happened if that student thought? What if that student was struggling with their mental health and decided to hurt someone? What if another student grabbed it first? What if one of my kids who trusts me to keep them safe ended up in danger? I've been asking myself these questions every day since it happened.
Where's Bubby's remote?
If any of you have ever taken educational psychology, you know the hierarchy of needs. Safety isn't just important, it is the absolute bottom. If that need isn't met, nothing else matters. Not learning, not growth, not social emotional skills, nothing. As teachers, we redirect, de-escalate, and absorb chaos daily. We fill gaps that should be coming from home. We do everything we can to prepare students to succeed in an increasingly complex world. But here's the irony. Our schools are the complex world we live in right now. And instead of keeping the biggest challenges outside of our walls, we are allowing those issues to walk right through the front door,
Okay, don't open that yet.
into our homes and into our classrooms. We're asking teachers to prepare students for complexity while we're still trying to survive it in real time. We don't need another inspirational slogan or spirit day. We need safety, actual structural safety. Our students deserve it, our staff deserves it, and this district needs to act like safety is the non-negotiable foundation it is. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Heather Neal, Johnston, Rhode Island. As a community, we are living with a level of fear that previous generations never had to carry. Every morning, our children walk into school not knowing what the day will bring. Parents worry long after drop-off, and school employees begin each day with the same hope, that nothing happens on their watch. We live in a world where safety is no longer something we can take for granted, and where the start of a school day brings a mix of hope and apprehension. And it is not because of one cause, but many. Rising student mental health needs, community violence, instability at home, social media threats, staffing shortages, and a national climate where every incident everywhere, anywhere, feels like it could happen everywhere. But while these pressures have grown, one thing has not changed. Our district has never stopped working. As an instructional coach, I know this firsthand. My role is to support teaching and learning. And you cannot do that without confronting the reality of physical and emotional safety. Students cannot learn if they do not feel safe, and teachers cannot teach if they do not feel safe. Safety is not separate from instruction. It is the condition that makes instruction possible. And I want to say this clearly. Our administrators have been working relentlessly to maintain that foundation. The emotional and psychological toll this crisis places on teachers responsible for the safety of 25 students can feel overwhelming. The toll is even greater on principals and RAs responsible for buildings of hundreds. And it multiplies further for directors and union leaders responsible for multiple buildings with thousands of children and staff. We are all human beings trying to navigate a national crisis that emerged long before the pandemic and for which society still has no real solution. The burdens we carry run deep and far beyond the public eye. And before we talk about solutions, we need to discuss a reality that people hear about, yet consistently choose not to confront. Aside from the temporary one-time influx of pandemic-era funds, education funding was already declining before the pandemic, and it continues to do so. The decline does not align with the current skyrocketing human capital need required to support our students. Last spring, you heard, and tonight, many accounts of teachers experiencing physical abuse. The untold stories were also those of building administrators who intervene repeatedly with those same students and often endure the same or more escalated aggression. Equally overlooked are the students who witness these incidents and experience their own emotional impact. But what the public still does not fully understand is this. Managing a single dysregulated child often requires 2 or 3 adults for 20, 30, sometimes more than 90 minutes. That one child may then require a quiet, supervised, regulated space for an extended period of time before being able to return to class. These situations demand staff and space we simply do not have. And this is not an occasional situation. Dysregulated children, plural, requiring multiple adults at a time is a daily occurrence in every building across our district. This does not include the disruption that occurs before help arrives, the instructional time lost as a teacher works to de-escalate, redirect, and protect a room of students. Sometimes the child can safely be removed. Sometimes the entire class must be removed. And after all of that, everyone must return to teaching and learning as if nothing happened. Let's be honest about what that feels like. It's like trying to carry on with your day right after a car accident. Some days it feels like an uneasy aftermath of a fender bender. Other days it feels like the gut-wrenching fear that comes when someone leaves in an ambulance. And yet, despite the weight of these moments, there is no indicator in our state accountability system that captures this reality.
Good job, keep going.
No points awarded in our star rating system for the hours of crisis management. No adjustment to our state testing expectations to account for the constant interruptions to instruction. No metric capturing the emotional toll on the students who witness these incidents or the teachers who guide their classrooms through them. Our children are in crisis. And while every person in this room cares deeply for them, we were all trained as educators. Schools are not adequately equipped with the resources, personnel, or supports necessary to meet the scale of what we are being asked to manage. Year after year, long before the fear reached this level, this district has strengthened protocols, expanded training, upgraded facilities, invested in crisis response, added mental health supports, revised safety plans, improved communication systems, increased supervision, partnered with outside agencies, and responded to every challenge as it has come. As this committee knows, the work has been steady, intentional, and often invisible. The truth is that
Ms.
all of
Neal?
us here tonight are exhausted.
Wrap it up, please.
Okay. By the expectations that no longer match the realities of our job. So tonight I'm asking for a unified call to action, not finger pointing, not blame, not misinformation, but unity. We can't do this alone. The district can't, the unions can't, families can't. We all need to come together for what our children deserve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Karen Cahill, and I'm from Weymouth, Massachusetts. I drive an hour and a half each way to get here, and I love it. I want to tell you one thing that I haven't heard today is where are the parents in all this? I mean, it starts with the parents. It starts with what they do at home. And we have to be in partnership with parents. And believe me, I know there's a lot of parents do not want to be involved, but that's when we inconvenience. That's when we say, you come up, you come here, and we're going to find a solution to support your child. Now, I've been in this district up 3 or 4 years, and I can tell you what, these parents want the best for their kids, and there's just a small number of kids who are ruining an education for the majority of the kids in the classroom. It will not be tolerated. I tell parents, I will feed your child. I will keep your child warm. I will educate your child. You need money for bills? I can even do that. All we ask is that your child behaves in school and allows others the opportunity to get an education and succeed in life. That's not that much to ask. But along with that, at Coleman, there are consequences. We don't play. Since I've been to Woonsocket, I've been called more names than I knew were really actual words, and that's okay. But when you come to Coleman, the kids know the expectations, the teachers know the expectations. You should be handling in your classroom, and if I'm needed, it's a group deal. It's not just one person. We're in it together. You make the choice, we make the consequence. And together we'll work to make the best choices and the best consequences to get our kids the best education they can get in Woonsocket and in the state of Rhode Island.
Is there anyone else?
Please forgive me. Herniated disc, sat too long. Nichelle Kennel, 485 Greenville Road, North Smithfield, Rhode Island. I have been in this district 7-ish years now. This is my 5th year at Globe Park. At Globe Park, over the last few years, as with every other building, we have worked tirelessly to develop a PBIS system. We have increased and implemented Second Step, but we still struggle. This year, we have opened our 8th specialized classroom, and it is still vacant. I have a 2nd grade classroom still vacant or recently vacant. I have someone out on a maternity leave, and I recently had a teacher, hallelujah, this last Monday, came back from a leave of absence. So when I tell you substitutes are dire, I am not lying. My staff can tell you that even I was substitute teaching. So I can honestly say that I was heard, and I have recently been granted permission to hire a 2nd building-based substitute. And this last Monday, we were given a 2nd BI. But that still doesn't help the fact that all of our problems aren't even specialized students. They sit in our general education classrooms. My social workers and I have even been pushing into classrooms, trying to do proactive circles and have really, really important conversations around physical aggression, name calling, bullying, and it's still not helping. I have rearranged students from different classrooms to try to decrease the number of calls to classrooms, to decrease the number of student negative interactions. Dr. McGee was recently in my building for his coffee hour, in which you would have expected a litany of parents to show up. I had 5. Granted, those 5 took an hour and a half of his time, but with all of the issues that my building has had, I've had many parents meetings, recent stuff on the news, you would have anticipated more parents showing up than did. My staff can also attest to the fact that I respond to calls. And although right now our chronic absenteeism rate is improved by 10%, it'll be a matter of time before my suspension rate catches up, because today was the first day I haven't suspended a kid in I don't know how long, and I probably should have suspended one. It does not feel good for me. My staff will tell you I preach how much I hate suspending students. But it's also needed. And that is not a good feeling.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Weinberg. I'm the principal at Harris Elementary. I live at 50 Melanie Lane in Rentham. And first, I want to say that I respect the teachers that are here and in this room. And I appreciate all their efforts. And I appreciate what they put forward each and every day. And I believe that our administrative staff is working to achieve the same goal, to keep a safe community and a safe environment. But I agree, we have a lot of challenges. And at Harris, we've put in specialized committees for PBIS, attendance, as well as, we've used time for our town halls to work with SEL initiatives for our students. And so, these are things that we work on every day as a team and in our school every single day. And we work hard to prevent issues, to get out in the classrooms, to help with students who are struggling. And, I would like to say that every day you can hear at our school as in our morning message, that we work hard to be safe, to be kind, and to be responsible at Harris Elementary. And we enforce that, and we try every day to push for that in our school and in our walls. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Safdar Mahmood. I'm from Franklin, Massachusetts. Although I'm not a Woonsocket resident, I am a Woonsocket school administrator, specifically at the high school and at the Career and Tech Center. My next statement has nothing to do with me trying to sound pompous or toot my own horn, but last year I was honored as the Administrator of the Year. And honestly, I take that very personally. I feel like that has an enormous amount of responsibility for me. And when I read why the teachers chose that for me, it was supporting our teachers, supporting our students, keeping our buildings safe. And I wanted to, not just the school committee, not just the Woonsocket Teachers Guild, but our biggest stakeholders, our students and our families and our parents and our guardians, to know that myself and the other high school administrators, Mr. Ernest, Mr. Dragan, Ms. Napolitano, Ms. Windsor, we hear what you have to say. We are working every day to solve these problems, but together, we need to work together, because our Woonsocket community, our youth will not be reformed without, our community will not be reformed without the reformation of our youth. And together, I just want everyone to know, and I want to go on record saying that I will continue to work diligently to keep our school and our community safe. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, everyone, and looking forward to this opportunity.
Can you speak up, please?
We can't hear you, Mr. Ernst.
I got here 4 years ago. Mr. Ernest, Brian Ernest. I'm not from Rhode Island. I'm from New Hampshire, but I live in Rhode Island 5 days a week. And it's been an unbelievable experience for me to come here and to have the privilege of serving as the principal of Woonsocket High School. I'd like to just mention a few things that we're doing. When I first got here, positive behavioral interventions and school values was just an abstract concept. We had a day this year that I never would have expected, and when I first got here, those kind of days were common. Since then, we have a support team at the district level where we meet with SROs and district leaders and community partners. And we have situations that come and they end up going to the right people. So we talk about families, we talk about students, and then we recommend these students and families to the situation table, which is a combination of Community Care Alliance, DCYF, a lot of community partners. At the high school level, we have student support teams that meet weekly. We have behavioral teams that meet weekly. We have trained every teacher and every student on the emergency protocols and the ALICE protocols. Professional development time has been devoted to meeting with every single department and reviewing shelter-in-place, lockdowns, fire drills, any emergency situation that comes our way. We can't control the actions of our students, but we can certainly respond in a way that ensures safety. Anytime there's an incident at the high school, we have a standing 10 where we speak to teachers directly. Professional development time was devoted to safety and security. We all need this partnership. We need to form this partnership, and we need to work together, which means we need to follow those safety protocols. We have an electronic pass system, which allows a limited number of students in the hallways. We need to use that with fidelity. All of the administrators, including myself, will be found in the hallway every single time that bell rings, every time there's a transition, at lunch, before school, after school, and during all of our events. We are visible. We are in the hallways. I think the first step that I took was to build positive relationships with students, and we've done that. Our team works tirelessly. I'm asking that we all work together. I think I meet with our union representatives 2 days a week. 1 day a week. They come in on Tuesdays. I welcome those meetings. I'm absolutely willing to work with any of our teachers. Our response is immediate. We have 3 SROs in our building. Within a minute, we can be at any location in that building. We have cameras monitoring our hallways, every doorway. Anytime something happens, we immediately respond. I do not enjoy sending emails home that we had a shelter in place or we had a lockdown. But the communication, I send over 21,000 emails every time there's an event, every time we respond, whether it be medical, whether it be an assault, whether it be whatever it might be, if it's a lockdown or shelter in place. So that's what we do. I hope that you all turn in our December meeting, because we're going to have some students presenting. They're going to be talking about some of the positive programs that are going on in the high school. One of the things we developed was a responsible, safe, and respectful environment. Our students are going to come present some of the things that we're doing. We're going to talk about our peer mentorship program. We're going to talk about a lot of the positive things that are happening. I look forward to continuing to work with our union and our staff to keep our hallways and keep our schools safe. If anyone has concerns, please reach out to me directly and we'll set up a meeting, and I can give you a little deeper insight, less than 5 minutes, of what we're doing. So I want to thank you for your support.
Hello, everybody. My name is Donna Coder, and I am a Woonsocket resident. I'm not going to broadcast my address, but I do live here. I'm not really sure where to start or what to say, but I can tell you one thing, that I don't want to get up here and blame anybody. It does us no good to point fingers and be angry or resentful, and I hope none of you ever feel like you're going to be punished for speaking your mind, because that's not the case at all. And yes, we do have a lot of meetings, and sometimes they seem pointless, but we were asked to have meetings to hear concerns. And unfortunately, solutions don't happen as quick as we'd like them to. And it's an event-driven profession, right? We go to school. I go to school in the morning and I plan on doing look and learns or rigor walks or just getting to spend time with kids. And I get called to a room because a kid is dysregulated, yes. But that's not anything we did, okay? We talk about it being a community effort. It is a community. It's not just on the school department. It's not just on the teachers. It's not just on the principals, the district leadership. I agree, Keith. I think, is he still here, Keith? He said it very well, and kudos, because we all do want the same thing. We have a lot of good things in place. Okay, we're working with a lot of mental health agencies because a lot of this is mental health. It's what our families are dealing with. It's their lack of having resources available. We're doing in-school counseling with an online program. We're doing a lot of good things. I personally want to shout out to the staff at Savoy. They all volunteer. They have after-school programs that they do on their own time, even though they have their own families. We have a crochet club, a dance club, a guitar club, basketball. This keeps kids engaged, and it gives them a reason to think about their actions. Sorry, I just wrote down a few notes. We need to be solution-driven, but you have to realize that solutions just don't happen because we came up with an idea. It takes time. Nobody loves Woonsocket more than I do. I went to school here. My kids all went to school here. I have a few grandchildren here. We are devoted to this community. My kids coach, teach. I have 3 family members teaching at different schools. Believe me, you should hear what Sunday dinner sounds like. Okay? But it's meaningful to us because we love our community. And I know you love our community whether you live here or not, because you're still here and you're still getting up and telling us, we want to be here, but we need help. So let's work together and be patient with each other and keep that conversation going and give us time, give Dr. McGee and his staff time. It's not like nothing has happened. Lots of great things are happening. We just have to focus more on those things. And we are eliminating the kids who don't want to be here. It's just not a snap of the fingers. So I thank you for your feedback because it makes me want to do more. So thank you all.
Kim Luca, Principal, Villanova. I live in Lincoln, Rhode Island. I say this every time I get up or I approach the committee that I'm honored to be part of this Woonsocket Education Department, and I am. And I look at what, folks are saying tonight, whether it be the administrators or the teachers. And again, I know that it's spoken because of compassion and passion for the community, for your fellow colleagues, and just it's a cry for help on all ends. And I can tell you that I worked in Providence for 25 years, and I saw things and experienced things as a teacher and as an administrator that unfortunately for me in this day and age, 30 years later, I'm not as flustered when stuff happens in the buildings because I've seen it. But I can tell you that I would not want to be any other place than Woonsocket. This is my 5th year here, and I feel as though I have my dream job. And why do I feel that way? I feel that way because I've been through, I think in the last 4 years, the toughest time in my entire life. And between central office and my faculty and staff and the principals, I've never felt so supported. So again, I think like Donna and a lot of other people have mentioned, it's not about blame, it's about the passion of the job and trying to be solutions oriented. I'm completely blessed this year to have an unbelievable administrative team. And again, the faculty is incredibly collaborative. And I think the things that made it different from last year to this year is I have an amazing vice principal, Wendy. And again, I always get a ton of support from central office and the teachers. Some of the things that are different in the school, I think, from this year or that's working for us, and believe me, we're not perfect. We're far from it. You know, that we have a story every day and we run around like crazy every single day. But the great thing is I can say more and more kids are starting to report things that they don't like happening either in the building or things that they see that they know doesn't sit right with them. And that, I think, is growth on their end. And hopefully it's because, and I know it's because our teachers, and I'm hoping the admin also, are making the kids feel that much more comfortable and connected in order to be able to report those things. So I'm very proud about that. We try to stay ahead of things as much as possible. Do we always? No. We run around like nuts all day long. We laugh, though. And I told Wendy before, we have to laugh every single day or this job isn't worth it. And do we laugh every single day? We do. We're constantly calling the parents, inviting them in. We're having mediations with the kids. We have a student support team meeting with a lot of passionate social workers and guidance counselors. We go to the TDT meetings and the common planning time meetings with the teachers and talk to them about the stresses that they have with particular kids or groups of kids. And again, we do everything we can to be fair and consistent. And again, your job is not easy. I've been there. I was at Hope High School for 13 or 14 years, and I get it. I am not far removed from what you're experiencing every day. But I do know that we need to stick together. And I really believe that everyone in this room is out for the same cause. Thank you.
Hello, I am Jen Renegaldo. I am the principal here at Hamlet. This is Mrs. Esposito, and she's my vice principal. I've been in this district about 20 years. I was a teacher here, 7th grade social studies up on the hill. I'm considered an OG. I am very fortunate, and I say this to everyone I talk to. Hamlet is a very special place. The reason why it's a special place is because of my staff. My staff shows up every single day, ready to help each other, ready to work. So I hear some of the stories from other buildings, and it makes me sad that they don't experience what we have here at Hamlet. From my admin team, my teachers, my support staff, Detective Valino, if I don't give him a shout out, never hear the end of it, and my secretaries. This is what happens at my school. We run around like nuts, like Ms. Lucas said. It's very similar at Hamlet. But very often, multiple times a day, I have teachers who say to other teachers, myself, Amy, how can we help? What do you need? They're on their prep. What do you need us to do? We'll do it. That's what it takes. That's what it takes to make a school a special place. Are we exhausted? Yes. Are we overwhelmed? Yes. Do we show up every day to make Hamlet a special place for our students? Yes. How much longer can we keep this pace? I honestly don't know. Dr. McGee did ask me what I needed because I told him I was drowning. I said, the first thing I need is a BI. I need a building BI. He said to me a few hours later, done. You will have one in December. I also have support. I am very fortunate to have district support, and that you can't put a price on that. Support from my staff. I love you guys. The reason why I'm still here is because of you and the kids. Thank you.
You can just call me Hop Along Kathy. Kathy Cavallo, the principal of Portia Citizens, and I live in Johnston, Rhode Island, and I fell in my own driveway. So that will answer the question for the fractured ankle. I have to say I'm very long in a career. This is my 43rd year in education, and I could have left a long time ago. Thank you. When I was looking for a job At 62 years old, it was a humbling experience for me to have to go and interview. And this was the only district that took a chance on me. And the only question Dr. McGee said was, where are you going to be in 5 years? And I said, right here, and I never want your job. And 6 years later, here I am. And I'm here because this is a special community. I have to admit, I didn't know a lot about Woonsocket before I got here, and I've taught in Providence, Central Falls, been administrator in Fall River and here. And this is a special place. I thank my lucky stars every day that I have the staff I do, because running 2 buildings, being one human, is hard. But I always know that if I'm at Citizens, Pothier is taking care of business. If I'm at Pothier, Citizens is taking care of business, because I have a staff that chips in, helps each other out, and yes, it's hard. I wouldn't want to be a teacher in a classroom. Kudos to all of you that still do it. I know I have a hard job, but yours is harder because you're in charge of 25, 27 kids, and, I try to handle them one at a time. It's hard. It's a small population of students that upset the apple cart every day, and they take a lot of our time. But I think with the littles, we have to think why I like that. They don't get up and come in and say, I want to throw a chair at the teacher and I want to swear at the teacher. It's what they're learning, or traumas that we don't know of. And I think we have to sometimes step back and think of that. And I know in the minute, because we're human and I have a bad temper and so do other people, it's hard. It's hard to step back and say, why are they acting like this? But I feel that Pothier Citizens does a great job. We've tried hard to honor the positive students, those that are showing up every day, and the numbers are getting bigger. We have an excellent Eagle program. We have fine dining for the students of the month. Every month this year so far, we have increased awesome attendance. I went from 45% chronic to I'm in the 20s. And I am thankful because this year we have new committees and they're working hard trying to think outside the box. But people do step up at Pothier Citizens, and we just have to give it time. Things take time. I know we want the solution right away. Would I love to be hobbling in the hallways? Yes. And I do end up with a lot of students in my office, but I find this year that that's making a difference. Calling the parents in and trying to come up with solutions, get them in the help they need to get their students here regulated, or the help they need to get regulated. I think we have to go backwards and think why. What's the reason they're throwing a chair or swearing at a teacher, especially in elementary school? And I do agree with that gentleman. I don't know who he is. Sorry, don't know everybody. But it's bigger than us, but we have to work together and look at each child individually. It's never going to be a one size fits all kind of a thing. And but shout outs to Pothier Citizens, or I would have been gone a long time ago. So thank you, district. I was kind of picked on in my old school district, so this is a dream team for me. And no, we're not always going to get along, and they've seen my Irish temper, and they will probably see it again. But it's all because we all want the best for the kids, and that's what we have to keep at the forefront. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Ann Richards. I've been working in the district for 25 years. I'm at Vernon Heights Elementary. I was not planning on getting up to speak tonight. However, listening to everything that's going on, yes, we have great things in place. They are not meeting the needs of most of our students anymore. We have been told, bribe more, choose different stickers to help these children. It's not working. We're saying things take time to work. We have mentioned these problems for years. We're not expecting overnight results. However, these are things that have been going on for years with no results. You're putting more on us every single year. We have our monthly to-dos. We have our walkthroughs to prepare for. We have testing to do. We do all these things for our students, yet we cannot meet the needs of the student who's throwing the desk, who's telling us we suck, who are telling us we're horrible, because we're expecting them to pick up a pencil and put their name on the paper. PBIS works for, I'm going to say, 60% of our students. It's the other percentage of the students that we are talking about. We've got the other kids. We need help with the ones that we are not qualified for yet. I spend time at night researching ways to help kids with certain emotional issues. I do that out of my own time to help my students, so my class is not interrupted, so learning can be productive and meaningful. But when my kids hear shelter in place twice in a day, do you know how hard it is to get 7-year-olds back after hearing kids screaming and yelling in the hallways? And I have to tell you, I'm very lucky. I have a bathroom in my classroom. I don't have to have little 5-year-olds who don't have access to bathrooms during lockdowns. We need help with the kids that programs are not designed to help them for. They are misplaced, and we have to show data over and over and over again to prove that these students are not where they belong, not because we don't want them there, because we want truly what is best for them. We are not what's best for some of these students, and we have to say, that's okay. We will find a place where these students can thrive and where the other kids in our classroom can thrive. So please, don't think that we're up here saying we want results overnight. We've asked for years for help. We're at the point where we deserve this. And I don't think I'm entitled to a lot, but yes, I'm entitled to go into my school and feel safe. My kids are entitled to go into school feeling safe. That's all. Thank you.
My name is Melissa Bubble. I am on 3rd Avenue, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. I'd just like to say I support all of you teachers, and I do the best that I can. And I agree with everything that that woman had just said. I hope you're truly hearing the teachers, parents, educators, and community members who have spoken tonight, and those who are after me. And also noticing many of the concerns of the people who are here who have not spoken. Their presence alone shows how deeply this community cares about the direction of our schools and where they're headed. I understand concerns surrounding the proposed merge of the middle schools and want to share what I've been seeing firsthand. I have worked in the after-school program, and I have witnessed fights and the tension and the growing divide between the students. Many feel that it's Hamlet versus Villa, and as if one of the schools is better. These are real conflicts that the students, real conflicts that are struggles, and this is even before the merge. And this doesn't just impact the district, it impacts my family personally. The middle school merge affects my own child as well, and I worry about his safety. I'm also worried about my soon-to-be high schooler next year, and so is he. After hearing about a student who was assaulted so badly that his jaw has had to be wired shut for 3 months, my son has told me he wants me to homeschool him. That should be telling us something. When kids start fearing school, we have a problem much bigger than meetings and talks. We need more action. So when we talk about merging, we have to be honest with the things the way they are right now. I don't see how this will be a positive or safe transition. Yes, a lot of behavior does start at home. I'll agree with that. But school is where the kids spend most of their day. If they don't have the proper support, structure, or accountability in school, how can the ones who generally want to learn stay focused? How can they feel safe? How can they be expected to thrive? I was also one of those kids when I went to school, picked on a daily basis. And this includes our students on the autism spectrum or with developmental issues or needs. We absolutely need more appropriate specialized support. It is unrealistic and unfair to expect teachers who are not properly certified to meet these needs while also managing a classroom of 25 or more students. That leads to burnout, frustration, disruptions, and unmet needs across the board. Inclusion only works when the right supports are actually in place. Many students come in every day truly wanting a calm, structured environment where they can learn and enjoy being kids. But when the day is dominated by disruptions, chaos, or safety concerns, those students lose out emotionally, academically, and socially. And while we're looking at what's not working, we shouldn't ignore what is working. Coleman has had very few, if at all, any issues. That matters. Instead of merging unstable environments, maybe we should look at the other schools like Coleman that have no issues or very little and see what they're doing differently. We also need to talk seriously about accountability, not just for students, but for families too. What if parents were required to attend in-school suspension with their child missing a day of work? Imagine the impact if students knew their actions directly affected their parents' day and involvement. That could shift behavior at home and at school and reinforce the education that is shared responsibility. I would also go to the school if my son was behaving that way. I've told him that. I will sit in the classroom with him. The truth is, our teachers are exhausted, our support staff is stretched thin, and our students, especially the ones who want to learn, are paying the price. Merging schools without addressing these underlying issues will only magnify them. We need more behavioral supports, more supervision, more mental health services, more specialized staff for other students that need it, and consistent expectations across all the buildings. We need to be proactive and have these solutions. Some teachers I heard tonight said that they have come to you with solutions. And we need to ensure every student, regardless of where they come from or what their needs are able to have and enter a safe, supportive environment.
Ms. Bubble, would you please wrap up?
Lastly, in regards to the principals and being in the schools more often, why not for some of the meetings that they have to attend be Zoom calls? As they say, sometimes when the cat is away, the mice are at play. And I'll be trying to talk with you guys after the meeting. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Fatima Wabi. I live here in Woonsocket. I'm also at Woonsocket High School as senior. As a senior, I've been here long enough to know that our school isn't perfect, but I also know how much I care about it and no matter what other people have to say. Yeah, of course, there's room for improvement. There always is. But I want to remind everyone here that we are not a lost cause. Our school has faults, just like any other school in the state. But what people on the outside never see or choose not to acknowledge is the fact that we also have many, and I mean many, talented, well behaved, motivated students who show up every day, ready to learn, ready to grow, and ready to build futures for themselves beyond those walls. Just because the negative gets talked about the most doesn't mean the positive isn't happening. It gets overshadowed, and honestly, that's the part that hurts the most. Because people, sorry, because people who judge us, but because the students who have actually put in the effort and never get recognized for it. So today I'm asking everyone here in this room, especially adults who guide us students, to take a moment and appreciate the students who are doing the right thing. Notice the kids who are showing up on time, who participate, who stay after school, who push themselves. See all of us, not just the ones who make the mistakes. Because when the focus only stays on the negative, it doesn't just mispresent us. It punishes the entire student body and gives a one-sided picture of of who we are. We are not perfect. But we are not hopeless. We're a community full of potential, full of heart, and most of all, a community that cares, and that everyone has to be seen more than just the negative. Go Novans.
Thank you.
Very well said, girl. Very well
Is there anyone else?
Hi, Carla Greco. I'm a school social worker here at Villanova. I had no intention of speaking. Oh, sorry, Lincoln, Rhode Island. I had no intention of speaking tonight, and that's a hard act to follow. And I thank you so much, and I appreciate everything and all your work. I'm here because I want to support everything that's been said by all of our colleagues and administrators. But I would be remiss not to point out there's been a common thread that I'm hearing. We're running, we're tired, we're asking for help. Woonsocket is acting and operating currently on a reactionary plane. We are reacting and reacting and reacting. But what I haven't heard until just recently is the word proactive. So there are two ends of the spectrum, proactive, and most importantly, where's our restorative practice? We're arresting. We're sending to ISS, we're sending to suspension. And then what? How are we restoring the community? There's a home school community piece, and we're not connected right now. I'm just asking, where's the restorative piece? I'm going to speak as a social worker because I've heard many teachers, and then I'm hearing about support staff. There's a wealth of knowledge and experience, and all we want to do is help. So I'm here asking you, help me help you. Give us the tools. There's two social workers in our school. The national average recommends one social worker for 250, that's beyond absurd. We're operating with 1, 2 for over 600. We are in triage right now. So I don't want to take much of your time, but I would be remiss if I did not underscore the absolute necessity for restorative practice. We claim it, but we're not acting it. Help me help you. I'll do all the work. Just help me help you. Give me the tools. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Kim Pierce. I work at Vernon at Coleman, and I live in Lincoln. I just have a question. When other administration were here, I worked on writing grants, and I'm just curious because I don't know who writes the grants and where do you look? Because when kids apply to college, there's grants for all weird stuff like, are you left-handed? No, seriously, there is. And so maybe if we looked outside of the box, we could get money, not just for social worker or, like look at things in a different direction, but fit the bill. I don't know. Just a thought. If there's weird things for colleges, maybe there is for departments of education. Or what about reaching out? And I'm sure you probably already have, but we have CVS. We have car dealerships. Let our community help us.
I don't know. Just a thought.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Elizabeth Moylan, 151 Elmore Ave. My husband and I recently joined the newly revitalized Villanova PTO. So I'm just here to promote our meeting tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the cafeteria at Villanova. I'd like to also invite the Hamlet PTO if they're in attendance, or any of the teachers. Specifically, since we know that the new elementary school will be built. Fifth and sixth grade should probably move to one building, seventh and eighth to another. So we also have to talk about what's going to happen with those PTOs. Also, maybe those elementary schools that are going to be transitioning to the new George City Elementary School. They'd like to be in attendance tomorrow or anytime in the future. We have an email address if you'd like more information. It's villanova@gmail.com. We're looking to explore grants. One of the parents had brought that up. She had looked into Buffalo Wild Wings, so we're going to look into that. We'd also like to improve communication between parents, administration, and the teachers, so that would be nice. I also know that most of the students use laptops, so I don't know if we could create surveys, so when they come back from the bathroom, is the bathroom clean? Yes. Does it need service? Yes, thank you. And like the janitor can go help, or is there an issue? Did you experience anything? There's things that we can use and improve with the technology. But again, 5 o'clock tomorrow, Villanova cafeteria, if anybody would like to attend. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, Brittany Donnelly from Cumberland, Rhode Island. I work at Globe Park, and I am an SLP, so I go in a lot of different classrooms and I see a lot of different things going on. I wasn't planning on talking, but I feel like I need to support everyone and get this out. I started at Globe 11 years ago with an amazing family. I love Woonsocket, and I know we all just want what's best for everybody here. I have seen a lot of great happen in these 11 years. I work with some pretty severe special education classrooms, and over the years I have gotten hurt, and I have expected that happens. I go home and I tell my husband, and he says, why don't you work somewhere else? Because this is home. I love Woonsocket and I love what we're doing here. But recently there's been a shift in the last few years, and people are getting hurt for different reasons because of mental health and illness in kids that we can't teach. We can't teach them out of mental health. It's just not something we can do. And we need support and we need help. And we need more people like social workers who are able to support that mental health, because it's not what we're trained to do. And the family that I have in Woonsocket is now broken. I'm watching people come in very sad, pulling themselves to work every day. It's only November and we've already hit that March feeling of, oh my gosh, I just want to be done. And that's really sad. And I know none of the teachers want that. And I know we all want to be here, but they need the help to be able to keep up. And coming to work now the feeling is no longer, I love this place and I love my family. I'm scared. I'm scared. One of my friends is getting choked out today. I'm scared I'm going home with blood on me. I'm scared that the student just vomited all over us and I don't know if I'm going to get sick. I'm scared that I'm getting spit in the face. And these are not things from the special ed students who might not have control. It's from kids who are mentally ill. And we cannot fix and support that. So I am here, as everyone else has asked, begging for help, because I know that's all what we want. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Dubois. I live here in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. I am a resource teacher at Vernon Heights Elementary. Just as a lot of people have said, they weren't planning on saying anything, but I just kind of felt like I had to give my perspective. I've been teaching for just about 30 years now, and just like everybody I've heard, I loved my job. I loved coming in. But just as a lady who just left said, there's been a significant shift. Our schools used to have multiple layers of support and different kinds of classrooms to help some of the special needs students and the behavioral and everybody else. Within our building, we only have the one type now. Everybody's been put into the regular ed classroom. I'm supposed to go into my 2 fourth grade classrooms that have a total of 46 students. I'm supposed to service 27 of them, at least 4 hours in every subject every day. That doesn't include the MTSS students, and that doesn't include the 3rd, 4th grade classroom that has multiple behavior issues. And as part of the head of the check-in, check-out team, and now that we started with 2 social workers and 2 BIs when we first started this whole program. We are down now to 1 social worker, 1 BI, who are wonderful. We love them desperately. But we have a mic, and now we have our crisis team. And instead of servicing my kids, most of the time, the crisis team is being called, and I'm supposed to chase kids at 60 with a boot. I am too old for this. We do not have the supports anymore. We are desperate. Vernon people, we rock it. I know we have our walkie-talkies. If we have teachers in need and our social worker and our BI is in trouble and they're already dealing with it, you have no idea how many teachers who are on prep will run to that other teacher's aid. They go when they don't have to, and they will support, and we support. The problem is we shouldn't be in that position. We should not be using our time to go run and help and answer the walkie-talkie. We were promised when we began this particular project at Vernon that we were going to get these promises, this dysregulation room. We were going to have all these supports. That has fallen by the wayside, and I've got more students now than I have ever had. And I can't support them because I'm chasing or I'm answering the walkie-talkie. We support each other, all the teachers. We're always running in. We're always trying to help. It shouldn't be just us. We really need the support, just like everyone is saying. I used to love my job. I don't anymore. That kills me. Please, we need the help. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Carrie Marabello. I live in Lincoln. I've been in Woonsocket since 2017, and I have loved being here. I've heard what we have all said. I have experienced everything they've talked about. So I'm not going to reiterate any of that. But I hope that when you think about everything you've heard tonight, from the high schools, middle school, elementary schools, when you think about safety, think about what you're going to do with this big building. I make it no surprise. I don't like the idea of a big building. I really don't. Just saying. Make sure that when you do this, you are thinking about how you're going to get all these kids into this big, glorious, beautiful building. Are you going to have the safety? Are you going to have enough staff to be able to take care of all these problems? Or is it going to be all the same thing wrapped in glass? Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Amber McGordy. I live in Woonsocket. I have 2 kids that go to Berkeley. What you need to know about the staff at Vernon is they have the biggest hearts. You cannot do wrong to these people. If you do wrong to these people, you're doing wrong to the kids. These teachers go to fight for these kids day in and day out. They need help. They're falling. They're drowning. Not only are they drowning, but the kids are drowning. I have 2 children in the school. They can tell you daily what children are struggling, who the biggest behaviors are. They know. It's sad. It's sad to know that this is how these kids are growing up. Everybody says the parents don't show up. They don't. I went to work in this school because I've talked to Miss K every single day at drop off. She was so nice. Who's not here? Michelle Azika, she's not here. She was my son's kindergarten teacher. She's a phenomenal teacher. You need to help these people, not just at Vernon, not just at Savoy, across the board. They need help. They need help. I have had my biggest learning experiences from some of these teachers here, not just they've changed my mind on things. They've helped me raise my children. They are not bad people. They need your help. You're going to lose them. You will absolutely lose a majority of these teachers within the next 10 years. You're not going to get teachers like Miss Garvin, who's going to say it like it is. That's what we need nowadays. You don't let these teachers speak their mind. You need to let these teachers do what they have to do and do their job. Let the teachers do their job. Go back to how it used to be. Hold the parents accountable. Hold them accountable. You need to do it, and it needs to change now. I'm not going to lie. Both my kids, after 5th grade, they're done. I'm not sending them through the system. I'm not sending them through Woonsocket. And that is a hard pill for me to swallow because they're going to be away from all their friends that they have been with. But I refuse to do that to them after I have raised them the way I have. You can ask any of these teachers. They've heard me scold my kids in the school because they're doing the wrong thing. That's what we need. You need to have the parents come in and talk to them and let them deal with their kids in front of the staff. You need to hold the parents accountable. You're not doing it enough. Get the parents in the school. Get them there and support these teachers more. Support them. Because some of these teachers are the only reason why I decided to go work in the school. Because they put their hearts on the line for these kids. You can't let them go. You need to fix it now, not later, now. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Then we'll go into recognitions and announcements. Dr. McGee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Woonsocket High School girls volleyball team proudly collected donations during their home match on Monday, October 20th against Shea High School. This special evening was dedicated to supporting 2 Woonsocket alumni who are currently battling breast cancer. Thanks to the generosity of our players, coaches, families, and community members, the volleyball program was honored to donate $575 on their behalf. Thank you to Thank you to everyone who contributed and demonstrated the true meaning of Novin spirit, strength, and support. That concludes my recognitions and announcements, Mr. Chairman.
Any comments for Dr. McGee? I'll make a motion to receive and place on file the recognitions and announcements. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, we'll go into the approval of minutes, and I'll make a motion to approve the October 22nd, 2025 closing meeting minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. Any corrections to those? Dr. McGee, roll call.
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke.
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus.
Yes.
Mrs. Costa.
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
Next, I'll make a motion to approve the October 22nd, 2025 open meeting minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. Any changes to those minutes? Dr. McGee?
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke.
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus.
Yes.
Mrs. Costa.
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
Next, I'll make a motion to discuss and approve the consent agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. Does any committee member want to take anything out of the consent agenda for discussion? Dr. McGee?
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke.
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus.
Yes.
Mrs. Costa.
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
Next, I'll ask Natalie and Fatima to give us your report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Natalie,
Again, I'm Fatima.
and we're here to give you the Woonsocket High School Community Report.
I'd like to start off with, well, this is kind of has like 2 weeks into it because we weren't at the last meeting, but the first quarter had just wrapped up. Teachers are finishing grades, report cards are being sent out, students are getting ready to start the second quarter. We already started, but ongoing with that. Attendance has been steady. Students have been doing good, have been doing a good job staying focused and responsible most of the time during classes.
Fall sports have come to an end, and with both our football team and girls volleyball team making it to the playoffs, which is a huge accomplishment, but unfortunately they both are out, leaving the girls volleyball team coming in second in the division, which is a great accomplishment in our opinion. We haven't been there since 4 years ago, so but we are super proud of how far they've both gotten.
Again, this is kind of delayed, but everyone was really looking forward to the Thanksgiving football game against Cumberland. It's always been a tradition between us. But yeah, I believe we lost, but that's okay next year. Again, homecoming dance went great. It was a big turnout. We had lots of students there. They had fun. There was dancing, music, snacks. And the National Honor Society started their annual food drive to help local families during the holidays. As well as Student Council has been planning the Thanksgiving Spirit Week, which is the following week. There's going to be a pep rally also there on that Wednesday. And we also had the blood drive that was yesterday. That was really successful. We had a lot of people, teachers, students coming in, donating. So that was great.
And then a big congratulations to our unified volleyball team on winning the Division III championships. Our unified volleyball team recently won the Division III championships, bringing a lot of positive attention to our school. Their teamwork and sportsmanship continue to make the Woonsocket High School proud. Our sports team and students have also been featured on several media and sports Instagram pages, including Max Prep, Next Networks, RIL Official, and posts from local reports like Eric Rubb, which is on the Providence Journal, who have been highlighting Woonsocket games and separate student athletes for their special talents.
And lastly, I'd like to bring up today, we had a whole bunch of alumni that graduated from Woonsocket High School that just came in and spoke about just our futures. And a lot of them were just talking about how we don't need the college education to be successful in life, which a lot of students in our school, I personally believe, they don't see a life outside of that building. But that was great to see alumni come in from all different age ranges, coming and just telling us different things. We had from CNAs to real estates. It was great, honestly, a lot of information. But yeah, it was great.
And then a quick shout out and thank you to Mr. Ernest and Dr. McGee for coming to our practice and championship to show their support for the volleyball team. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your report. Great job. Sounds like there's a lot of spirit and excitement at the high school. Any questions, comments?
I do have a question.
Mrs. Costa.
You did say something about the Thanksgiving game.
Can't hear you, Mrs. Costa.
I'm sorry. You said something about the Thanksgiving game and that there's next year, but wait, Thanksgiving didn't happen. Do we have a pregame for that?
Oh my God. It wasn't the Thanksgiving game.
Thanksgiving.
Homecoming game.
Okay.
See now, I'm thinking about vacation.
Because I want to know if we won.
I know. That's why I was like, wait, did we win or did we lose? Did we have the game yet?
There we go.
That's why I wasn't sure either. I was like, did we even win? I asked her before I finished the sentence.
We're good now.
I think the game was played in Cumberland this year too, isn't it?
Okay. I'll make a motion to receive and place on file the student representatives report. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Dr. McGee, would you give us your report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chair,
Yes.
before he begins, I hate to do this. May we have a brief recess?
Yes. Do we have a motion for recess?
I make the motion.
Do we have a
Yep.
second? Mr. Leclerc
At 9:01.
at 9:01. All in favor?
Aye.
I
We'll
won't
take
be
a
long if
5-minute
there's no
recess.
line. I won't be long if there's no line.
No, that's fine.
No line.
We in recess. We have to. Out of here.
I just learned something. Carolyn said that you can tell them that we're going to be done at 9 o'clock for public.
Yeah, we better do that. We can never do that. I'll tell you why.
No, I'm just.
I'll rush through everything else.
I agree with you. I'm just saying what you said.
I'm crying because I'm sick.
Dave Richards is not.
No, but you're right. He's not. You tell him. We just took a recess.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
She did while we were gone. Yeah, we're good.
Yes. I'll make a motion to come back into open session at 9:06. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. Dr. McGee, roll call.
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke.
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus.
Much gratitude, yes.
Mrs. Costa.
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
Dr. McGee, would you give us your report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to start with personnel matters update. Since our last meeting, the district has hired one full-time special education self-contained MLL teacher at Harris Elementary, plus several non-certified hourly stipend and extracurricular positions. As of today, the following vacancies remain across the district. We have 6 teaching positions and we have 13 paraprofessional positions, which are still vacant. So that's the personnel matters update. My next item is climate and security update. First, I want to thank everyone who's still here. I want to thank those who had to leave early. I do appreciate your input and your feedback. And I can tell you that, those of you who are here and those of you who spoke, there will be no retribution. And if you feel as though after this meeting there is, then I want to know about it. I want to thank Mr. Stewart and the union when they addressed the community and the committee. I do appreciate the positive things that you spoke about with respect to what we've been doing for the long term and for the short term. So I want you to know I appreciate that. Thank you. My intent tonight was to go through a sort of a menu, if you will, of things that we've implemented across the district for years, whether it's been for years, just recently, or things that we're going to look to implement. But I don't think that's necessary tonight. I don't think you need to hear that. I know that when we met here in the spring, last spring, and you spoke very passionately, as you did this evening, about your concerns regarding safety. There are some things we were able to initiate. There were subcommittees and a variety of safety meetings that we still do at the schools. I have a list of them. You know what they are. So there are some things that we were able to initiate, and there are some things that we have not. And I recognize that. I said I heard you in the spring, and I know that you feel as though that I and we didn't completely hear you, and I respect that. There are things that we still need to do. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some things that we're going to do, as well as some things that are currently happening in terms of the start of the school year and the fighting and the violence and the behaviors at all levels. So it's in some of these, if you forgive me, some of these things, the union leadership mentioned, and I just want to reiterate. So, first, with respect to the high school, Mr. Stewart, Mr. Andrews, and the high school staff requested that we utilize common planning time two times a month to discuss issues and concerns and just to share information and to improve the lines of communication. we're doing one. And I also put this in my 2 newsletters ago, that if there are situations that require more than one, I have no problem going with Mr. Ernest and any other director or member of the central office. I don't have a problem doing that. As you stated, I was there about a week or so ago after an incident, and I thought it was a very good conversation. There was some really, I thought, very, very good feedback from the staff. Some of the feedback we, as a leadership team, have talked about and that we can act on. And then there are other things, other forms of feedback that were provided that we're going to look at the potential of implementing those things. So I want you to know that we're open to improving and increasing those lines of communication across the district, but specifically at the high school. A second issue, major concern, which stemmed from last spring, and it has been a concern until now. When we have our subcommittee, our climate and safety subcommittee, which is a subcommittee that's made up of the union leadership, administrators, central office staff. We talk about issues. We talk about issues at each level. And one issue that has been made very vocal is the elementary special education continuum of services. And we just had a meeting recently at Vernon with the group that we meet with. It's not becoming monthly because there are just so many meetings, but we try to meet when we can, and we try not to have too much time in between meetings. But we talked about this the other day. I had a conversation. Well, Mrs. Morell was at that meeting, and we are going to explore the models that we have at the elementary level, and we're going to look to see what changes need to be made, because I think we agree that some changes need to be made. I think that there are areas where we agree, and I think that's one area that we agree. So I've also reached out. Well, and let me back up a little bit. So I know that there's a meeting with the social workers on Friday, and there have been other meetings that either have been scheduled or will be scheduled with other resource teachers, self-contained teachers, and gen ed teachers. I've also reached out to Mrs. Kapiskis, and I asked Mrs. Kapiskis, not in her role as a school committee chair, but in her role as CELAC and RICEAC, to, I don't want to say serve on this group, but be a part of this group, because Mrs. Kapiskis has a lot of knowledge.
24 years of experience.
24 years of experience, and I think that she can add a different lens to looking at the models, whether it's the Vernon model or just across the board. That is something that's going to happen. Cell phones, major issue. Certainly at the high school, a little lesser at the middle schools, a little easier to contain, but still an issue. We've talked about our cell phone policy. We had a policy subcommittee meeting yesterday where we talked about utilizing the Yonder pouches, which we will be purchasing the Yonder pouches for the middle schools and the high school. On Tuesday, next Tuesday, I scheduled an appointment, and there are some people in this room who don't know yet they're going to be invited, but they're going to be invited. We're going to be visiting Brockton High School, which is a very large high school. I'm told up to 3,000 students. And they are utilizing the Yonder pouches successfully. So I hear. I want to see it. Big school. If they can do it successfully, we can do it. We talked yesterday at the policy subcommittee about utilizing the pouches and how would it be utilized. The devil is in the details. That this is something that I plan to roll out this year. I can't give you a specific date, but what I can tell you is that I want to make sure when we do, it's well thought out, it's well planned, because what I don't want to have happen is we just roll them out for the sake of rolling them out and it fails. That can't happen. So we'll talk about a timeline. It's all dependent on the purchase of the pouches, which we're going to be making, and when they get here. But we're going to start talking and we're going to start planning what that's going to look like at the secondary level. Everyone knows here. I don't have to tell you. You live it on a daily basis. It's a major distraction. It is oftentimes. It is a cause of some of the violence, and it has to stop. When we implement the Yonder pouches, it's going to be, they're locked in the beginning of the day, and they're unlocked at the end of the day. They will not have access to cell phones during passing time or during lunch. That was discussed yesterday. Fighting. The one thing I know is that everybody that's in this room and everybody that was in this room shares one common feeling, and that's the love of this district. And I'm not saying this to be corny. You know, like some of you here, I was born here. I was raised here. Like some of you here, I graduated from Woonsocket High School. And when I see the press literally adding up the number of arrests and calling every time there's a message that's sent out, whether it's from Mr. Ernest or myself, about an arrest, a fight, it's frustrating, it's demoralizing. There are a lot of layers to this onion, and I'm not going to get into all of the different layers. I don't think this is any one person or one group's fault about this violence. But we have to, somebody said earlier, more importantly than being reactive, we have to try to be proactive. And we do. Our teachers do. Our administrators do. Our deans, our support staff, they work really hard to try to be proactive to prevent some of these things from happening. I spoke a few school committee meetings ago on 2 separate occasions about the fighting and the violence. And if a student is deemed to be a demonstrable threat, then there are actions that we're taking. Each case is individual, ranging from short-term suspension to a long-term suspension to, in some cases, if the student has an IEP, we certainly have to follow their due process rights, to a potential out-of-district placement. We had the incident on September 22nd. And we've had incidents since then. And myself and Mr. Ernest and others have looked at each case individually, and the consequences have followed. But it's something that has to stop. And I've said this in the past. Our parents need to step up. Our parents need to cooperate. They need to collaborate. I don't want to, I don't want to just throw students out. I don't want to just suspend students for the remainder of the school year. We want to support our students. I want to make sure that you all in the community knows. We want to support our kids. But there are some situations where the violence is such that there are actions that need to be taken, and we are taking them, and we're going to continue to take them. It's no secret that, unfortunately, we seem to always use this excuse, but it's a legitimate excuse that there's not a lot of money, whether it's the city's portion, the state's portion. We utilize a lot of our grants. Somebody talked about, what are we doing with grants? Are we seeking grants? There are grants that we do seek out. Our directors do that. They're looking for grants. They're the safety grants. I know that Mr. Notariani with the Woonsocket Police, just recently, one of our SROs sent an email to us about a potential grant. So people are looking for these types of things to try to help us with adding resources that we otherwise may not be able to afford. But we are using title monies as best we can. We have Title IV funds, which have yet to be released. And that's been a whole process this year. If you recall, in the beginning of the year, I said that we needed to just hold off specifically on Title IV. We didn't know how much we were initially going to get. Now that we know, and Mrs. DeRisso has worked really hard, she has worked really hard to procure Title IV funds for behavior interventionists. We're adding more behavior interventionists. We've added one at Globe. Harris and Savoy have been sharing a behavior interventionist. Each of those schools has one. We're adding 2 more to the Pothier Citizens campus, 1 to Hamlet Middle School and 1 to the high school. So from the beginning of the year, when we added 1 for Globe, we've added 5 more out of Title IV. We have to wait for Title IV. We have to wait for the process for Title IV. We have to wait for RIDE to approve our Title IV plan. We've been told they will, but we have to wait. So I'm hopeful sometime in December, we'll get that notification and we'll add those behavior interventionists. Do we need more? Yes, we need more. I'm not going to sit here and say that we don't. We absolutely do. We have talked also, in addition to the yonder pouches and talking about specifically the high school and the violence and the fighting and students in the halls at Woonsocket High School. We've added 2 more detailed officers at the high school in addition to the resource officers that we have there. We're also, I am making the recommendation to the school committee, not officially this evening because it's not on the agenda this evening, but I suspect the next meeting to put out an RFP for security at the high school so that we have more eyes and more supervision in the halls. Because if you've ever been to Woonsocket High School, it's somewhat of a maze. It's not terribly conducive to supervising halls because there are so many of them and they go in all different kinds of directions. So I want the community to know. I know that everyone is frustrated. Everyone's sick of it. You want to just teach in your classroom. And I'm not going to pretend, and I'm not going to sit here and say I know what it's like. I've said that many times to you, and I don't know. But I can imagine. I see, I hear. It's not fair. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to those students who come to school and come to your classrooms every day and want to do the right thing. And you might be sitting there saying, yeah, McGee, we heard this in the spring, right? You're just saying this because, you think you need to say this because, the media's here and we need to do more. And I am committed. Mr. Stewart was saying earlier that, what we want to avoid here is RIDE coming in and, taking over either schools in the district. They officially cannot take over a district, but we want to avoid them coming in, taking over any of our schools. We had a meeting recently, and the state president of the American Federation of Teachers was there with us. And she looked at us and she said, you need to work together so that we can avoid this and that we can move the district forward. And I just want you to know I am committed to working with the union so that we can move forward and that we may not be able to we won't solve all of these problems. We won't. But I'm committed to working so that we can solve as many of them as we can. And I give you my word. And I know that together, and we've all got to be together. And I know that there's some mistrust. I know there is. We've got to get beyond that so that we all trust one another. And if we can do that, I think we can make the progress that we know we can make here, because this is a district that has educators and staff and administrators who are committed. I mean, we've heard people here this evening who said, I don't have to be here. I want to be here. I want to be here. I want to be a part of the solution. And I think we can work together to be a part of this solution. We may not always agree. We don't always agree. But if we can continue to work together, then I really believe that we can improve. I had a lot more, but I'm not going to go through it because I think that what I said sort of sums up where we are right now. Tomorrow's Thursday, although somebody a little while ago said tomorrow was Friday. Wish it was. But tomorrow we have our weekly admin union meeting, and I look forward to that meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. McGee. From my part, I agree with what we heard tonight and all the issues that we heard tonight. There's no question that we've got to do more. I want to see the cell phones gone personally. I want to see more presence in the hallway. I want the teachers that will be helped, as well as the administration. But my focus is on the children and how, especially the words that were spoken by our student representative, that there are really great things happening in our district. And some of our principals have said the same, that from K to 12, we have a lot of good things happening. This is my 10th year on the school committee. Some people have asked me, are you out of your mind to continue to sit on a committee, on this committee, and be bludgeoned every day with phone calls, emails, Facebook, people on the street, people in a grocery store, at a restaurant? What in the world are you doing? How are you going to fix everything? My focus is this is a great place to be because of those 5,000 plus kids that we have in our district. I'm here for all of them, not only the ones who are having trouble, but the good kids, the honest students. I'm here for the teachers who are busting their backsides every single day for the kids in our district. The folks who spoke here tonight have spent careers here. It's like you're in a battlefield. I'm here with you, and I'm not going to quit because you're not quitting. And the members of our committee here, we've been dedicated to all of you, to all of us in this community. This community is the most important thing that we have going. It takes collaboration, cooperation, and a damn hell of a lot of work. And we're all willing to do this and keep the ball rolling and make the community better, to make our district better. So for me, I'm glad our folks came out tonight and spoke, and we've taken this seriously, and we are going to implement the security measures we need to implement, as well as the scholastic methods and programs that we need to put in. So it's a challenge that I'm willing to work on. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman? just
Vice Chair
briefly,
Burke.
I support the hiring of the additional police officers in the high school. And I think their presence, as well as the presence of the SROs that we have already, can serve two purposes. Obviously, the first initial purpose is to bring peace back to the school. But I think also their presence, and I hope this is the greater purpose or the greater result, is to bring a sense of safety to the students and the staff as they see the officers now in the building, because that'll help the atmosphere and the attitudes of the good students who are there to work and the teachers that are there to work. So I do support that endeavor that Dr. McGee mentioned. And also, we talked about parents, and I just want to congratulate, because it is about parents, and support the PTO that is going to be established here in the middle school. And I hope it's successful, because our problem has been getting parents involved in the district. And I hope that it's successful in the middle school so that you will be able to carry it on to the high school in the years to come, because that'll make a big, big difference in many ways. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, I just want to say that as much effort as we're trying to put forward to correct these problems, I really hope that the parents at home put in the same effort trying to help their kids. I said, I hope that as much effort as we're putting in as a school committee, as a community, as a district, that the parents, again, the parents at home take some responsibility and help us help their kids. Because if we don't have the help from the parents, we're not going to get anywhere in the school system. Thank you.
Anyone else? Then I'll make a motion to receive and place on file a superintendent's report. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, by Mrs. Costa. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Looking at our time, and we have to be done, I believe, for OMA by 10 o'clock. So I'll make a motion to table the review of the school subcommittee reports to the next meeting. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. Dr. McGee, roll call.
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke,
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus.
I don't know. I think I'd like to freeze for 20 more minutes. No.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's a
You're
yes?
so kind. Yes, it's a yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go on to conferences and discussions. Mr. Perrier, your financial report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In front of the school committee this evening is the October 2025 fiscal update. Bottom line, we are currently projecting a $83,000 surplus. It's still a very early projection so far this year. So we're going to want to take that with a grain of salt. But we are basically projecting breaking even at this point of the year. Let's talk some of the financial highlights on the revenue side. 4% increase asked from the city of Woonsocket for FY26 was only funded at $150,000. This led to a decrease in budgeted local revenues of $519,000 in total. 3% increase to the student success factor, which is a component of the state funding formula, was not approved by the General Assembly in June. And this is why we are changing our projection for state revenue and reducing it by $1.469 million. And then finally, on the Medicaid side of things, Medicaid revenue is projected to be over budget at this time by a little over $1 million. Again, that's an early estimate, but gathering data, it looks like that number is going to hold up as we get to June 30th. I'm hopeful, actually, the surplus will climb even higher than that. Overall, general fund revenue is projecting to be $857,000 short of what was budgeted back in May due to those adjustments that I talked about that occurred after we submitted the budget. So right out of the gate, we're down $850,000 on our budget on the revenue side. On the expenditure side, all regular salaries at this time are $1.418 million under budget. And when netted with the employee turnover allowance of $1.35 million, this would put overall salary $68,000 under budget. Medical expenses are currently $2.8 million under budget at this time. It is far, far too early in the year to get hung up on that number. That is just based on the information that we have at this time. As always, as everybody knows, we monitor this very closely on a weekly basis as these bills come in. And as a reminder to the school committee, we do have reserves to cover any medical shortfalls that we have. $2 million in a medical pooling account, an additional $1 million in our OPEB account. Overages and purchase services are due to us being unable to fill some budgeted salary positions. I think there's been enough conversation about that this evening. We have had to turn to purchase services pretty heavily this year and earlier in the year than we usually do. This has caused some overages in that area. The biggest overage we have right now is contracted PCAs. We're looking at about a $1.275 million over budget line there for our contracted PCAs. But again, that's offset by the money that we're saving in the salary line.
Right.
It is, however, more expensive to contract with PCAs as to hire them. So it's not a straight one-for-one trade-off, unfortunately. Transportation is currently $350,000 over budget. At this time, the district still has not received our first bill for transportation for September from statewide. So the $4.637 million PO we have, I think it's a pretty good number. But until the first couple of months come in and the billings show up, we're going to have to rely on that. And as it comes in, we'll make the adjustments to the PO as necessary. District is currently $909,000 over budget at this time for tuitions to charter schools. This is due to the Woonsocket Education Department no longer qualifying for the additional clawback of funds for mayoral academies. The RISE prep payments have increased for Woonsocket from $500,000 last year to $1.4 million this year. That change came through after the budget was approved. The numbers still need to be finalized for tuition payments. So that's going to be addressed in December when we have a finance subcommittee meeting. Kind of jumped the gun a little bit on that. That was my big finale. But yeah, we'll be having a finance subcommittee meeting in December to discuss these issues and the amendments to the budget that are going to be required for us to get through the year. This time, all expenses related to technology and capital improvements will be directed through their appropriate reserve funds. We have a technology fund and we have a building fund. We will discuss those in more depth at the subcommittee meeting, and we will bring that back to the committee and share it at our the next fiscal update. As I said earlier, we're currently projecting an $83,000 surplus, and at this time, I would be happy to answer any questions the school committee has.
So basically, we're break even, Mr. Perrier, at this point.
Right now, we are break even, but I caution everybody, it is still very early in the year, and there's a
Without a
lot
doubt.
that needs to be developed.
Right. Any questions, comments?
Actually, I have one more comment as well.
Please.
I've listened to everything that's gone on this evening. I'd like to point out that I think everyone around here is suffering from a bit of an ESSER hangover. I'd like to point out that we had $25 million in ESSER funds through ESSER 3. ESSER altogether totaled about $40 million for this district. And that is a huge chunk of change. And that covered a lot of the things that you're not seeing in the schools today. The BIs, the additional help with social workers, those are all covered through ESSER. And those funds are no longer there. So I think we need to recalibrate expectations a little bit. I know there's been a lot of talk about bringing in more help. Right now, the budget can't afford that. And if we do want to bring in more help, we're going to have to turn to our fund balance, which is there. We do have reserves, but know that anything that we're going to be hiring or adding throughout the rest of this year is going to have to come through fund balance at this point. Now, it doesn't mean things can't change down the road. When we get a little more clarity on our medical, some of the other big POs that we have currently encumbered, that doesn't mean it can't change down the road. But as of right now, if we were to move forward with some of these big ticket purchases that we're looking at, we're going to be utilizing our fund balance for that. And I just kind of wanted to make that clear with everybody here, that we're going to have to dip into the reserves to make this stuff covered. I mean, forget all this other stuff here, the shortfalls of all the revenues. I mean, it's just not there right now. And I just want to make sure that we're careful with how we proceed with what we're going to do here. And I want to make sure we stay fiscally solvent. That's my job, finance director. I know there's needs. I understand all that. I just want to make sure that we're fiscally solvent with whatever we plan going forward.
And as always, the 800-pound gorilla is the medical. Every single year, that's the expense that we can't control and has bitten us in the past. So we're going to have to be very careful, as you say, Mr. Perrier, because we got to have prudent financial review and control, because we certainly can't show red numbers. That's not going to happen.
Mr. Chair,
Mrs. Kapiskas.
I don't normally contribute anything on budgets because I freely admit accounting, not my strong suit. But the other thing we need to consider is, as we talk about removing students from schools to out-of-district placements, that is a huge figure in this budget. And that's something I'm intimately familiar with, is the cost of out-of-district placements. And everyone needs to keep that in mind, that depending on how special education classrooms get restructured, that figure could climb significantly. And it was significant last year to begin with.
Right.
Probably looking at $60,000 to $100,000 a student based on the placement. I think that's a pretty fair range.
Mr. Chairman, just a brief comment here. I just wanted to underscore what you mentioned already, Mr. Perrier, that we now pay, or our cost to Rise Prep is now $1.4 million, almost double what we paid last year. And this
More
is
than double.
More than double.
Almost triple.
Triple what we paid last year. And this is because of one line that the Council of Elementary and Secondary Education voted on to allow Rise Prep no longer to be a mayoral academy, but to be a regular charter school. And because of that, we are now paying 1.4, which is going to move up quickly.
Anyone else?
Just want to say thank you for your candor, Mr. Perrier.
I'll make a motion to receive and place on file a financial update Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Leclerc and Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Notoriani, your report, please, on technology and facilities.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this evening before you is a report on technology and facilities. As of today, there are 46 technology infrastructure work orders and 38 related to data systems. There's a typo. Our communication systems, which was spoken about during public comment, we are in the process of installing the new telephone, intercom, clock, and bell systems at our high school, middle schools, career tech center, and several elementaries. Over the next several weeks, we'll be installing the telephones, the internal systems, and moving forward building by building. I think the project, and I've been stating this all along, will probably go well into 2026. It's not a simple just put a new phone in like at your house.
Right.
The business office recently approved, and it was approved tonight, so thank you very much. Replacement cameras for both middle schools, and it's much appreciated because it was an area of concern. Our old cameras were not working in several locations. Data and state reporting, we're currently in the process of submitting our summer withdrawal, graduates, retentions, and dropout data. Graduation cohort data review will begin in December, which is part of the accountability process with RIDE. We're conducting the following projects or tasks. We're upgrading to the Power School platform starting for July 1st, which we've previously talked about. And we are in the process of uploading student pictures into our student information system, which was recently requested if we could expedite it because it's a safety issue. Our SROs and our staff would like to be able to associate a face with the name in our system. Facilities custodial services, as of today, there are 112 work orders in the system, broken down between internal ones and external ones placed out to vendors and contractors. The HVAC heating systems, they continue to make repairs here at the middle schools. We've met with staff and we've created a list of remaining issues and concerns, and they're working through them. As we reviewed at last month's meeting, the high school campus HVAC controls are outdated. They're original to the building, and we anticipate potentially getting a grant to replace all of those systems. We're just waiting for the next steps. Rhode Island Energy, middle school lights. We have heard repeatedly that it's a concern, particularly here at Hamlet. The lights shut off, which we've experienced ourselves. The vendor that manufactured the controls has gone out of business. We were able to locate an individual out of New Hampshire. They came down several times this week. They'll be out next week and throughout the month of December. And they're going to reprogram things to see if we can get the lights to perform the way they're supposed to. Transportation, we continue to meet bi-monthly with Durham School Services. There's not much of a change. I think you know how I feel about them and their work performance. But we are working with the state on the Transpar study, and they're going to do an analysis of all of our transportation needs. Very soon, I believe Dr. Mee is going to be announcing an advisory committee. We've been working through that, which would be a positive for the district. And lastly, what is omitted is I chose not to do an SRO safety concern update on my agenda because, well, I figured there'd be a lot of discussion about safety and security here in the district. I think we've heard all of it. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. That concludes my update.
Thank you, Mr. Notoriani. Any questions, comments? Then I'll make a motion to receive, place on file the technology facilities update. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Leclerc, Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, we go into new business. I'll make a motion to table number 1, the discussion approval on renaming the district-wide school climate subcommittee to student safety and behavioral health subcommittee to our next meeting in December. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Leclerc, Mrs. Costa. Dr. McGee, roll call.
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke,
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus.
Yes.
Mrs. Costa.
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
The next item, I can tell you that the city council approved this memorandum of agreement this past Monday unanimously, 7-0 vote. So I'll make a motion to discuss and approve the memorandum of agreement with the Woonsocket Police Department. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Leclerc and Mrs. Costa. Any comments, any discussion? Dr. McGee?
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke,
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus.
Yes.
Mrs. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc?
Yes.
That's what we signed, right?
Next, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:51 PM. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye. We
Aye.
are adjourned.
We have 9 minutes left.